Hey everybody, Chris Maldonado here. Welcome to this week's Q&A. If you want to leave a question for next week's Q&A, leave it in the comment section below. Send it to me on Facebook or Twitter at the addresses in the description. And yeah, let's get on with it. So, yeah, it's been a while since I've done a Q&A, and this technically won't be a Q&A. I mean, it will. I have a couple of questions here, but they're not that many that I think I could get through a lot of. In depth anyway. They're not really that in-depth questions, at least for the most part. So this is kind of gonna be a hybrid of a Q&A and the Let's Chat video that I did with the Destiny beta. So I'm just gonna kind of ramble about shit and answer questions in between my rambling sessions. So the gameplay that you're seeing right now is gameplay from the Evolve Alpha, which I got to luckily take part in. I don't know how I got an invite to it, but I got it, and right now you're just seeing some of the settings. But it's pretty good. It's made by the guys who made Left 4 Dead, so it's kind of almost exactly what you would expect if you've heard the concept. It's 4 players of each class going against basically what's a giant tank. This is just me fiddling around with the settings. Alright, so since there's nothing really happening right now, I'll answer the first question on my list of questions. When are you going to make a longer version of Anxiety, I Just Want to Be Calm? Now, I get this question actually a lot, and I've got to say, I don't think that's going to happen, mainly because I feel like part of what makes that song, I guess, resonant with people, and people seem to like it. This is a pretty funny part in the video coming up right now. I had to turn off my Connect mic because I didn't want to hear. Yep, there I am. Hello. Hello past me. But yeah, so I mean, I don't think I'm gonna make a longer version of Anxiety, I Just Want to Be Calm, because I feel like the shortness of that song is kind of it's kind of the almost the point of it, because it's like a quick burst of energy, and it's a quick burst of anxiety, really, and that's kind of the point of it, is to be short and kind of fast and almost disjointed in a weird way. And I don't really want to make a longer thing. I don't really want to touch it because it seems to be a song that a lot of people like, even though I really hate it. I gotta be honest with you, I can't stand it. I think it's one of the worst songs I've ever written. But I feel that way about a lot of the songs I write, so that doesn't really say much of anything. But yeah, people like it a lot, so I don't really want to touch it. Maybe I'll touch it up. Maybe I'll record a better quality version of it, because I'm pretty sure I recorded that on really shitty equipment back in the day. So yeah, so don't expect a longer version. Maybe if you're going to expect anything related to Anxiety, I Just Want to Be Calm, expect a touch-up, better quality sound. So one of my biggest problems with the Evolve Alpha was these holy shit load times. Because look at, I mean, we're all watching this in real time, and I mean, this was a good load time. Like, compared to the last one I got, holy shit, it was so bad. But the game's pretty fun. You'll see it in a little bit. Okay. What advice would you give to people looking to become musicians? So I'm clearly the worst person to be asking this question, because not only do I make little to no money off of doing music, but I'm barely a musician as it is. But I could, if I was a musician, and if I was a successful musician, if I was a musical genius, and this was my profession, then I would say practice makes perfect. Because I mean, the more you practice, the better you get. I mean, everybody's got a skill threshold, but practice and get as good as you possibly can, because that's really what's going to make the difference. But aside from that, I don't know if I'm really qualified to answer that question. I don't even know if I'm really a musician. I mean, I make music, but am I really a musician? Like, at what point do you become a musician? Like, am I an artist when I doodle in my notebooks? Like, I don't, like, I don't really know. What are your top 5 favorite bands? I can't answer that. I can answer my top 3. And my top 3. Excuse me, yawning. This is going to be uncut, by the way. I'm not going to bother editing this. I'm far too lazy and kind of want to get this out as soon as possible. Also, it's Tim McElrath's birthday today, lead singer of Rise Against. So I thought it was. And my Halloween video came out a decent number of days ago. So, yeah. So that's about it. So, oh yeah, my top 5 favorite bands. Jesus. I can answer my top 3 favorite bands, and that's Green Day, Queen, and Green Day and Queen are kind of alternating. Usually it's Queen at number 2, Green Day at number 3, and Rise Against at number 1. Rise Against will always be number 1, as long as they keep making songs that are very, 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 very good. You know, Green Day and Queen have sort of hit and misses. Like, I think in terms of Queen, I don't necessarily think the Miracle album is all that great. There's a couple of albums that are kind of not too fantastic. Jazz is like a really wild card because there's a lot of good stuff on Jazz, but there's a lot of like really forgettable stuff on Jazz too. Queen 2 is pretty good. Innuendo is fan-freaking-tastic. Innuendo is probably one of the best albums ever made. Green Day is kind of the same, where it's like I didn't care for Uno Do Tre. You know, 21st Century Breakdown had a lot of good songs, but a lot of forgettable songs. American Idiot was fantastic. Dookie was fantastic. Warning was kind of meandering. You know, there's Nimrod was pretty good too. There's a lot of alternating things where it's with those bands, but I do love them. And Rise Against, I have yet to find an album that I dislike at all. You know, so Rise Against is number 1. You know, 4 and 5 usually change depending on how I'm feeling. Like on some days it'll be Hailstorm and Breaking Benjamin at 4 and 5, or sometimes it'll be Nico Vega and Old Linkin Park, or Bad Religion, The Strokes, The Offspring, Tenacious D, Frank Turner, Eric Clapton, Pat Benatar, David Bowie, fucking Metric. You know, that changes often. So yeah, my top 3 are Green Day, Queen, and Rise Against, in the opposite order, descending. Favorite movie of the last 10 years? It's definitely a Quentin Tarantino movie. Probably Inglourious Basterds. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really comfortable saying that. Inglourious Basterds is probably my favorite movie in the last 10 years. That movie's just, it's got everything. Like, the first 5 minutes of that movie makes every single other movie that's ever been made look like crap. It's so good. Just that tense scene in in the dining room of that fucking house with oh man, what's his name? Christoph Waltz. Christoph Waltz interrogating that guy. It's so good. Some of the best shit in any movie. So as you're seeing right now, I'm fighting fucking Cthulhu, and or what I assume is Cthulhu because it looks like fucking Cthulhu. If Cthulhu was a flying land beast. But so I'm gonna talk about Evolve a little bit. This is one of those games that you cannot play this without your friends, and I'm playing this without friends right now. I'm playing this by myself, just hopping into matchmaking, not talking to anybody, and I'm doing terrible because again, this is one of my first times playing. There's something about it. Something about the controls that require a team of people to help you, because the jumping is really weird. The shooting mechanics are very strange. They have range to them. What the What killed me? Oh, it's this thing. Oh man, I'm so fucking tired. I've had an exhausting month. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Evolve yet. I mean, I haven't had a chance to play it with friends, and I'm pretty sure the Evolve Alpha ended yesterday, or today. I'm not sure, so I'm not gonna have a chance to play with friends. Um, it's fun. It's definitely fun to play, but again, like I don't think there's enough content here to warrant $60. And again, this is just the alpha, so there might be way more than this. There might be more maps, there might be more locations, there might be more monsters. But as far as I've seen, all the maps from all the videos and of the alpha that I've played, all the maps seem to look the same, and all the monsters seem to not be very varied at all, and it's a little depressing. Because Left 4 Dead was kind of the opposite, where you had a ton of different variety in the monsters you got to be, and there wasn't a lot of variety in the survivors. But I mean, you didn't have to have variety in the survivors because the variety in the zombies made them interesting. But this is just like you got a variety of classes, but that kind of locks people into a certain play style that they might not otherwise play. So it's really, I don't know. Evolve. This is definitely the wild card. I don't know if I really want to bother with it. Again, it's fun. There's nothing bad about it. There's just nothing particularly great about it, and I think that's kind of upsetting. And this isn't a paid promotion. This is not a paid promotion. Good lord, I wish it was a paid promotion. Hey, Turtle Rock and Microsoft, give me money to tell you tell everybody this game is good. Now, to be fair, it is good. It is good. Man, I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but like I really wish it was better. It's good, not great, is how I would define Evolve. Like, I definitely want to play Sunset Overdrive and the Master Chief Collection way more than this. But I'm glad to have had the opportunity to play because it is an enjoyable experience. All right, so back to the questions. I got a few left here. I actually went through a lot of them. I thought I had way more than what I ended up with. Oh, I skipped like a whole fucking section of them. Did Destiny live up to the hype for you? Hype? Oh man, hype is a weird thing. I mean, I don't know if I was really that hyped for Destiny. I was just excited for it, and I think there is a difference. I like to think of myself of having reasonable expectations. So when a new game comes out, I never expect it to be the game that cures cancer. Like, a lot of people seem to have had... A lot of people had the idea that Destiny was going to change the way they look at games forever, and I never really felt that way. I just felt like, hey, Destiny looks like a really fun game, and that's what it ended up being. There's no shortage of problems that I have with the game, though. I don't like the random loot drop. I don't like what they did with the raid. They completely broke the raid, and the raid was totally fine before. I mean, it had a couple of glitches, but it was at least manageable because you could strategize. But they eliminated one of the key elements of strategy in the raid, so the raid is now one of the most frustrating things in the world, not because of its difficulty, but because of its unfairness. And there's a lot of stuff that they could have done better, and there's a lot of stuff that I am disappointed with, I suppose. So there's a lot of stuff that I would have done differently, and there's a lot of stuff that really needs to be fixed. But I don't know if I was I don't know if I was in the camp that was disappointed by it because of hype. I don't even necessarily think I'm all that disappointed by it. I just think it could have been better. I still think it's probably the best game on any console at the moment. It's definitely fleshed out. It's got a nice lore. It's got solid gameplay mechanics. It's got solid PvP. I like it. I like it a lot, but there's a lot of stuff that, man, they just really dropped the ball with, and I really do have a feeling a lot of it is Activision getting their hands all over it, because, I mean, Bungie has a pedigree. They've not put out a bad game since probably GNOP in, like, the early 90s, which was just a Pong ripoff. Which was really just, it wasn't even a bad thing. It was just like, it was Pong, so it wasn't all that creative. I mean, every game that they've put out since then has been good, and even Destiny is good. But like, there's a lot of mistakes that they made with Destiny that they've never made before. So there's just like there's this weird feeling of like higher ups getting way too involved. And I think that's what's really disappointing about it is that you know that the game could have been so much better, and you know that Bungie wanted to make it better because they advertised and they showed cutscenes that weren't even in the game, and then those cutscenes got cut, like presumably by publishing, because Activision tends to do that, and it's really disappointing because Destiny in and of itself is a really solid experience. Especially if you're playing with friends, it's like it's I can't put it down. If I'm completely honest, uh, whenever I play it, like I'm not gonna lie, it's the only Xbox One game I own right now, so I do get burnt out kind of quickly, but it's really only because it's the only game I have to play. But it's a solid game otherwise. So you know, I wasn't hyped for it, so there was nothing for it to live up to. I was just excited to play a new game, and it was fun, and it still is fun. So, and I'm still playing it. I mean, I put out stuff on Twitter all the time, asking for people to help me with heroic strikes and nightfalls and stuff like that. So it's a fun game. I like it, but it's not a game changer in the same way everybody thinks it will be. I think it's a game changer on the networking side of things more than it is on the gameplay side of things. So yeah, that's my bloated opinion about Destiny. So if I'm not mistaken right now, you're about to see me play as the monster, which is arguably the best part of this game. Because quite frankly, the FPS part of Evolve isn't all that enthralling. It's pretty standard affair. Nothing really too special about it. Actually, like going between this and Destiny is actually kind of disappointing because Destiny's controls are actually really solid and really good, while Evolve's is kind of clunky, kind of Bethesda-y, which is strange. I know Valve has a history of making uh, really clunky controlling characters, so it might be just like Left 4 Dead influence. But yeah, the monster is infinitely more fun to play and infinitely more fun to watch. So hopefully you'll enjoy what's about to come. Have you ever thought about being in a band? I'm sorry. Have you ever thought about starting a band? I thought about starting a band hundreds upon hundreds of times. The problem is that I don't really hang around with people that are too musically oriented. I don't know that many people who would be willing to start a band, let alone who play an instrument. I mean, I know a few people. I know a few singers, and I know a few guitarists. I know one really amazing guitarist. But there's not really that opportunity there. I feel like a band needs to come from. It needs to come out. I don't know. I feel like a band needs to exist naturally. I don't think you can go out and say, "Hey, I'm looking for people to play this specific instrument with me," because it feels too much like employment at that point. I feel like in order to start a band, it needs to kind of grow organically and be like, "Oh, hey, we hang out a lot. Oh, hey, we know how to play instruments. Oh, hey, let's start a band." I don't think that you can force a band into existence. I don't think those bands ever turn out too well. But I've thought about it a lot, I mean, but I'm not too great a guitar player, and I'm not too great a singer, so I don't really know what role I would fit. I guess I could do rhythm guitar. I'm pretty good at rhythm guitar. It's arguably my best set of skills. Can't do solos. I suck at solos. But yeah, I don't know. If the opportunity ever came up, I would take it. I would love to be in a band of some kind. But yeah. Let me look for another question while I watch the monster. One thing I feel about the monster is I feel like he doesn't jump nearly high enough. That's a little disappointing. Oh man. I'm way more tired than than I really should be. I mean, it's 10 a.m. here, but I got a lot of sleep. I don't know why I'm tired. Or then again, that might be why I'm tired. I got too much sleep. What game from your childhood holds up the best? Oh, holy shit. Uh, I mean, I don't know. My childhood. You have to define a childhood, because my childhood I define all the way up until high school. Like, that's my childhood. Like, until high school. High school began when my childhood ended. And that's how I look at it. So, I mean, I played Halo 2, like in Halo 1. Halo 1 and 2 hold up fantastically. But I think, based on the way you phrased the question, I'm assuming you mean older games when I was, like, really young. And I guess that would put me in the PlayStation and Super Nintendo area of time. Oh, man, I don't know. Ape Escape is a fantastic fucking game. It's so good. Tekken 2 hasn't held up too well, but it's still one of my all-time favorites. I mean, if we're really talking how well games hold up, I mean, you can't ignore the Super Nintendo. I mean, nearly everything on the Super Nintendo plays like it was designed today. Like, it's so good, because it's the Super Nintendo. It's not the N64, so it doesn't have that awkward 3D, and it doesn't have that awkward moment in time when graphics were really kind of new. The Super Nintendo was like had some of the best 2D games ever. So, I mean, I don't know. But as far as 3D games, which I feel like are a lot harder to maintain, Crash Team Racing definitely holds up the best, along with the other Crash Bandicoots. Oh man, but the Spyro games too. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of good PS1 games that hold up today. I mean, Spyro holds up fantastically. The Crash Bandicoots hold up fantastically. Yeah, fantastically. But I think Crash Team Racing holds up the best, because it's a kart racer that doesn't feel at all dated. Like, the graphics, yeah, the graphics look kind of shitty, especially on split screen where everything's like split between renderers. But holy shit, that game plays like a new game. Like, Crash Team Racing plays better than any Mario Kart that has ever existed. And I don't feel at all remiss saying that. I would stand by that statement to the grave, because Crash Team Racing is so fucking good that I don't know. I really don't know. It's too good. It's too good. You can't beat Crash Team Racing. And I think it's harder for a 3D game made on the PS1 to feel like a new game than it is for a 2D game in that same amount of time, because, I mean, there's 2D, they had a lot of time to figure out with the NES. So, like, Super Mario 3 and, Super Mario World both hold up amazingly, but I don't think it's as impressive that those games hold up as it is for Crash Team Racing, just because of the 3D nature of it. So yeah, as you can see, I'm fucking fleeing for my life, I think. Actually, I haven't been watching the video. I've been trying to focus on answering the questions. Oh, man. I mean, the monster is definitely the most fun. I will say that. The game is almost worth it entirely just to play as the monster, but... Did my phone die? Because I've been reading a list off my phone of all these questions, and I really hope it didn't fucking die. Okay, it died. What game are you looking forward to the most, and why is it Kingdom Hearts 3? Oh, I'm sorry to disappoint whoever asked this question, but I'm not really much of a Kingdom Hearts person. I'm not a JRPG person. I like, and that's nothing really against the genre. I did enjoy Final Fantasy VII up until I got stuck. And it's like Final Fantasy VII is a great game. I love the soundtrack, and I love the gameplay, even though it's turn-based and not necessarily what I would normally like. But I mean, it's really just not my cup of tea. The whole JRPG third-person clunky action game. It's really not my thing. I prefer. I'm really a first-person kind of person. First-person kind of person. I'm really a first-person kind of guy, where I like the feeling of being in the exact point of view of the character that I'm playing, because I feel like I have more control over the character. I don't know why. It might just be a placebo, but I feel like first-person games, you have the most control over what you can do. And that's not for all FPSs, by the way. Like Call of Duty doesn't really have that level of that high level of control over the character. But like Halo has like some fantastic control. Like if you wanted to get up to a ledge, oh, frame rate drop there. Holy shit. Hopefully that was the alpha, not the full game. Well, they got time to optimize. I don't even know when this game comes out, to be honest. But yeah, I'm more of a first-person kind of person. Like I play third-person games occasionally, but certainly JRPGs are probably my least played genre. Next to maybe racing, next to sports games. Actually, sports games. Yeah, fuck sports games. I'm sorry for everybody who likes sports games, but I cannot understand the idea of turning on a video game system and playing a sport on it. Like, you just go play the fucking sport. I get if you don't have friends. Like, I get it there, I suppose. But I always viewed games as like, if I can see something, like if a game is about something that can happen easily in real life, I don't want to see it. Like, I don't want to see a sports game. I don't necessarily want to see. I'm kind of bored of World War II games and Modern Warfare games, although those games did have some merit. Like, if it happened in real life, and if it's something that I could see at any given moment, I don't want to fantasize about it by playing a video game. It's just like, I'll just go watch it or do it. Fuck it. But I really got off on a tangent there. I'm really sorry for anybody I offended who likes sports games. Somebody's sitting there playing fucking NBA 2K15 or 2K14 or whatever the newest one is, and they're just like, "Well, Chris, you're an asshole." And yeah, I am, but don't necessarily think that's. Don't necessarily think. I'm not a sports game fan, and JRPGs are probably my second least played game. Third-person games I do like. I like Gears of War, and I like Uncharted, and Last of Us, and Sunset Overdrive. I really want to get Sunset Overdrive. Sunset Overdrive looks fucking fantastic. If anybody knows me at all, they know that Sunset Overdrive is basically a game made from... It's like they made a third-person game to the soundtrack of my life. Because it's got that punk, that 90s punk... Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 style music, and Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller. It's got fucking Bad Religion and like punk rock and stuff. It's awesome. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I don't really have the time to get it now, but eventually, maybe that'll be the next Q&A. Maybe, actually, it'll probably be the Master Chief Collection if I'm honest. What day is it? The 3rd of November? Yeah, that's coming out pretty soon. So the next Q&A is probably going to be the Master Chief Collection. Again, I don't know when the next Q&A is going to be. I apologize. But if I get a lot of questions, the more questions I get, the sooner the Q&As will come. Because quite frankly, the questions haven't been coming in, or the ones that have been coming in were kind of ones that I wasn't sure that I could go that in depth with. Like this whole time I've been rambling because I've been looking through all the questions that I got, and I'm looking for a decent one. Oh wow, okay, I got a Halo one. Oh, and this one's like really... this one's on my level of nerdiness. Given all that's happening in Halo Escalation at the moment, are you worried or super excited for Halo 5? Now, for those of you who don't know, who are out of the loop, Halo is a video game franchise, but it's got a lot of books and comic books and kind of secondhand media. And right now, there's a lot going on in that second media that ties directly into the full game, and that's never really happened before. I mean, there's been a lot of backstory in the comics and in the novels, but there's never been direct gameplay influence. But in the comic books right now, they're doing a lot of they're introducing a lot of characters that presumably will be in Halo 5. And if you only play the Halo games and don't read any of the comics, I can assure you, based on all the stuff that's happening right now, you are not going to understand a lick of what the fuck's happening in Halo 5. Based on what I see happening. So, I understand this question. I'm excited because I'm aware of all this stuff, and I do read that extended lore. So I'm excited to see all this stuff because I know that I'm going to understand why it's there. But I'm worried because I know that the review scores are going to be impacted by the fact that not a lot of people do that. And I know that not a lot of people are going to understand, like, they're going to play Halo 4 and then they're going to play Halo 5 and they're going to say, who are all these other Spartans And why is Master Chief acting like they've been around forever? You know, it's there's a weird thing, and then they, spoiler alert for Halo 4. I mean, they killed the Didact off screen in Halo 4, but then it turned out he was alive, and then they killed him again. So there was no real in the comics. So there was no real point in bringing him back in the first place. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm excited for Halo 5 just at the prospect of what 343 is doing right with Halo 2 Anniversary. I really think they've got their shit together, and I think they're going to make a great game. Because I think they have learned. I think they're doing a great job with. I think they're doing a great job with Halo 2 Anniversary, and if that's any sign, I mean, Halo 1 Anniversary was kind of poorly done in the sense that they completely ignored the matchmaking, and there was some geometry issues. And Halo 4 ended up being kind of a mixed bag, kind of disappointing, kind of good, just like Halo Anniversary. And if Halo 2 Anniversary is any representation of the kind of work that they're capable of doing, I have a ton of faith in Halo 5. I think it's going to be great. I think I'm really excited. So that's pretty much all the questions I got for today. I guess I'll talk about Evolve. So what you're seeing right now is me destroying absolutely everybody. And the monster is really tricky to play. Like, there's a lot of weird things. Like, there's a lot of hit detection issues that I found, and there's a lot of... I don't know, there's a lot of weird... so fucking tired. There's a lot of... There's just a lot of weird control things. Like, I don't know how look at how low my health is. Look at this fucking masterful escape. Fucking call me Shawshank. I really got out of there with like barely any health. And what you're gonna see me do right now is I'm gonna feed on wildlife and get my shields back up and go back and win it. Spoiler alert for what's gonna happen at the end of the gameplay, but you know, Evolve is my final opinion on Evolve is, you know, it's pretty good. Plays pretty well. I mean, it's definitely a co-op game. You're not going to enjoy this as much as you would. Like, you're not going to enjoy this game if you're playing it by yourself versus if you're going to play it with your friends. So just swatted those birds out of the sky. So yeah, I mean, I guess there's nothing left to talk about. I guess I'll leave you for the rest of the gameplay. I don't think there's that much left. I think there's about 3.5 minutes. So if you want to see some Evolve gameplay that doesn't have any of my voice over it, enjoy it. I'll see you next time. Remember, leave your questions in the comment section below, or send them to me on Facebook or Twitter at the addresses below or on my main channel itself. And you know, I'm Chris Ray, and I'll see you next time.